Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. It's your girl Lillian coming with another video. Let me tell y'all, happy Fat Tuesday, okay? You know, we live. We live, okay? All right. So what's going on? Let me tell you, it's a lot of traffic today. And I want to do my video because I feel like the sun is still out, but it's Fat Tuesday. So we got to get it done before people are running the streets, okay? All right, so we're gonna go into it. Yesterday we talked about what's meant for you will never pass you by, okay? We talked about that yesterday. Not forcing things that may be not in alignment with what it is that we want to bring into our life or what is meant for us to have. Sometimes we feel like we're supposed to have some stuff and we're not supposed to have it. For example, myself, thought I was going to be a corporate daddy, right? Because I got on the shirt. You know, when people wear glasses, they feel like they're supposed to be smart. I feel like I'm supposed to be reading books and everything, but that is just not for me, right? But you know, when we're used to having so much and having things and just never being met with resistance, it's hard for us to take a step back and, you know, make sure that we're not coming from a place of ego, right? Because everything is not ours. You know what I mean? Just because you see something shiny, it's not ours. We talked about that yesterday, okay? We talked about that yesterday. Today, we are talking about why treating other people, right, the way we want to be treated, it don't always be working out like they told us. They said the golden rule, right? They said the golden rule was treat others the way you want to be treated, okay? Well, we're doing that, okay? We're following the steps, the good book. We might not get all the commandments, but we work on that one, you know what I mean? At least do that one, you know? And so we're having issues, you know, we're treating people the way we want to be treated, and we're still getting played. We're still getting, you know, our heart broken and being used in different things of that nature. So what is the disconnect? Okay, why is the math not mathing on that particular standpoint right there? Why is it just, what's going on with that? Okay, I did a little bit of research. I did, because I want to know, is that really the golden rule? You know, I'm woo-woo. I had to look it up, okay? Now, if we travel down to Egypt, or up to Egypt, we go to Egypt, right? Excuse the noise. I told you it's crazy out here. Okay. If we go there, right, they're telling us that it actually says, don't do the worst thing, okay, that you feel like is the worst thing to other people. I'm trying to get my notes. Hold on. I'm trying to get my notes. Let me get my notes. It says, don't do the things that you hate towards other people. Okay? That's what it said. Okay? If you hate it, if you don't like this certain behavior, don't do that to other people. Very different. Okay? Very different. That's why I don't like when we translate, people be translating different texts and different things of that nature. You're translating the text and you're going word for word, but it's idea for idea. When you switch the words around, the ideas get changed, but that's neither here nor there. Now, they said, treat others the way you want to be treated. But this say, don't do the worst thing to other people. Completely different. Completely different thing. Completely different. It's not saying treat other people the way you want to be treated. It's saying don't do the worst thing to other people. Don't be doing the worst thing. If you hate liars, don't be lying. Don't be lying on people and stuff like that. I mean, I could see how they say treat others the way you want to be treated, but it's really don't do the worst thing. It's almost kind of like when you dig one ditch for another person, you're digging it for yourself type energy, as opposed to treating, I don't know, like it's just, I don't like how we flipped it, because I feel like the energy is different. You know, I don't have to be nice to you, right? I don't have to be nice to you. I just don't lie on you. You see what I'm saying? I'm not lying on you. I'm not stealing from you, because I don't like steal. I don't like thieves. I don't like all that. You see what I'm saying? But I'm not overgiving. You know, so I feel like the context in which the phrase was originally said, right, has shifted, and the meaning is changed as well. The energy behind it treats a little different, in my personal opinion. But we can just go, excuse my dog, because now she want to eat and everything like that, and I can hear her chomping and things like that. And I ain't gonna lie, sometimes you might not even be able to hear all this stuff, but I can hear it, and it irritates me. Anyway, moving on. So let's go with the golden rule, okay? All right, the golden rule is going to assume, all right, we are assuming that everybody has the same degree and elements of empathy. Everybody don't feel the same type of things for different things. When I watch a movie or when I see certain things, I want to cry. You know, I want to cry. I'll be like, oh my God, that's so sad. Like when I see people going through stuff, I hear about stuff, I'll be like, oh my God, that's so sad. The first thing I want to do, what can we do to help? Can I go get you a car? You need some flowers? Like, what can I do to really like brighten up your day? Other people be like, oh, okay, and move on. You know what I'm saying? They just kind of move on. Some people, they find out people have been through stuff and they still treat them like whatever. I found out and I'm like, oh my God, that is so sad. I'm so sorry that this is happening to you, and different things. Like, have you taken time for yourself? Have you actually spent time with your emotions? Like, I'm really trying to help and everything like that. But everybody don't have that type of, you know, empathy. That's why the world is the way that it is, because everybody don't feel the same way about certain things. Okay, moving on. Everybody is not emotionally secure, right? Everybody is not emotionally secure. Everybody is not on that level. It's different levels of emotional security. Some people are really operating from, you know, I'm not going to say newborn, but it's giving newborn, right? Cry and I get it. I want it right now. Toddlers, the terrible twos, they're getting very much, I want it right now. And I'm not sharing my things. In fact, I want what you got, and I'm going to take it from you, period. And it's just kind of like, you know, where is that maturity? Some people are still, you know, kind of catty and things like that. And it's not just women that are catty. Trust and believe. It is not just women. It is, listen, you'll know, you already know. But it's just like operating from, I'm going to say insecurity. People are insecure, right? They don't believe in abundance. They don't believe that, you know, there are infinite resources and things like that. They feel like I had to get it out the mud. I got to take whatever I can get. And this is, I'm going to take it. If I see it, I'm going to get it from you. If I need to, it don't matter. You see what I'm saying? And it's just kind of like, that's the energy that so treating people the way you want to be treated versus how they treat is completely different, because most people are going to treat you based off of what they have going on under the hood. Okay. What do they have going on? How do they feel? Right. And then also, how do they perceive you? Right. How are they going to perceive you? And the thing is, we talked about it yesterday. We touched on it lightly about the glow up. The outer exterior really does matter, because people treat you how they perceive you. That's why it matters. Now, in a perfect world, we would want people to treat us as human beings no matter what we look like. All right. But that's just not the norm. That is just not reality here. Okay, people treat you based off of how they perceive you, okay, and what their perception of what you look like, what that means to them. Okay, it's very layered. And then add an extra layer, what they can get from you. And if you got what they feel like, see, it's all of that, the perception, what they feel like you have, and how they gonna get it from you, and then all of that energy. It's all of that happening just off of one interaction. Okay. And so when you're treating other people, interacting with other people, it gets really messy, y'all. It gets really messy. And when you give more to other people, and you're treating others the way you want to be treated, with the expectation that they're going to treat you the same way, you get played, because they never follow through on this golden rule. Like, you're doing it, but apparently they didn't learn that in school, or they didn't learn that at home, and different things of that nature. So you're operating off of, you have to assume everybody didn't learn that. Like, that's why in my other video, when people was talking about hair and the different grades of hair and things like that, everybody didn't learn it. Everybody wasn't present for that lesson. Okay, some people wasn't there. It's different levels of maturity, intelligence, emotional, empathy, all of that, different levels. We're dealing with different levels. We can't assume that the person that we're sitting in front of, right, that they are on the same level as we are. Okay? Literally. We have to assess the situation. We have to assess the situation. That's why you can't even really get mad at people like that for real. Because it's like, I got to let you do it a couple of times because I really have to assess the context in which you do things. Okay? I'm not just letting you do it. I'm taking notes so I can know what level of your consequence that you're going to get. Because yes, everybody is going to get a consequence, but it's based off your level. Okay? Your level. You don't just do certain things to certain, you have to hit it on the level. Okay? All right. Moving on. Listen. So when you're treating people the way that you want to be treated, you know, people automatically look at it like, oh, I can get this from this person. So if you're listening to people because you want people to listen to you, when we're having a conversation, we talked about it in one of my videos, it's a feedback. We're talking. I say something, you listen. You say something, I listen. And it's an exchange of words, right? Okay, boom. You listening to people and they problems, and I fall short of this right here. You're listening because you really care about people's problems, because deep down you want people to listen to you and your problems, right? If you ever feel like you need to share and things of that nature. But here's the thing, they start to see you as a trauma emotional dumpster. They just dump they have new attachments, y'all. They gave me new attachments. We'll talk about it at the end. They gave me new attachments. But anyway, they dump all of their emotional trauma and pain and anguish onto you, right? And it's to the point like you could be doing something and they just come like, hey, girl. And then you can already tell from there, hey, you know, it's the breathing. It's the breathing for me. Like when people come in, you know what I'm saying? Like they've been, I feel it in my spirit. I feel it in my spirit. They come in here, hey, you know, like, don't come in here with all that breathing like that. Okay, because you've been to run me for a loop. I can tell. They give you all that trauma. And then what happens, and I know the woo-woo girl, let me tell you what happened. They're telling you all of that and you're listening. And then as you're taking on the energy, because they're giving it and you're listening, you're nodding, and you're like, oh my God. And so you're accepting that into your thing, right? And then they leave the situation feeling so much better because they have offloaded that energy onto you, right? Now we have to, hey girl, hey, as soon as they start coming in, talking and all, hey, you gotta turn like up, you know, figure out a way to go ahead. You already know they finna do that. I just like to pick up the phone. Sometimes I have to pick up the phone and act like, you know, because we have to make sure that we're in a place to emotionally receive certain things. People automatically assume that you're available if you have a history of being available, right? If you allow people to come in, all right, in the middle of whatever it is that you're doing, right? Whether you're busy or looking, whatever, if you give them that, then they will start to expect that from you. And then when you're trying to pull back the energy, they feel some type of way. That's why the old heads say it's easier to loosen up than it is to tighten up. If you was already tight and you had your boundaries in place, then you can ease it off a little bit, but it's hard to tighten it back up when that thing has been running loose for a while, right? So don't even let them get, you know, because then you're going to be talking to me like, girl, how do I get out of this? Right? Because I be at work and people be trying to, you know, I have to put on my headset. Like I have to have a YouTube video playing all the time. Are you in a meeting? It has to be like, I'm sorry. I have to have my background noise. Some people listen to like ambiance news and things like that. I have that. I have an ambiance of like news and different things of that nature. And I just have to have white people voices playing in the background. I have to. Are you on a call? Yes, I'm on a call with Sarah. I'm on a call with Sarah. I'm on a call with Madison. John Tucker. I don't know. I'm on a call. I'm on a call because sometimes, like, oh, I gotta zoom. Have your headphones ready, right? Because people come and the energy is like always coming, and we gotta. And then you know what? When you try to shift the conversation into something more positive, right? Well, have you considered this? Have you thought about this? Well, what does so-and-so, your family, right? Because we should be having these conversations with our own family. So I love to bring, how does your child, your kids, your family, your spouse, how do they feel about so-and-so? Just as a reminder that is something that you should be sharing with your family and not your coworkers. See, when the lines get blurred, right? And when it's too much, it's too much. And we have to pull out when we have to pull out, right? Let me tell you, look, if you're always helping people, I have this... If you're always helping people, I'm speaking from experience, they're going to want you to spoon feed them. They're going to take time out of their day. Okay? Take time out of their day just so you can come down and do it. They need help with everything. You would wonder how people got their jobs. Amen. Because you're doing their job and yours. And sometimes it's just not feasible for you to do every little thing for everybody. That's why I tell y'all, and people think I'm playing, but I'm serious. It makes no sense for you to feel like or to act like you're the smartest person in the room, because all they're going to do is have you work for them, do their job. And we only getting one check now. We're not getting a raise. We're not getting anything other than brownie points. And even the brownie points are not even that much, because what happens when you burn yourself out for doing too much for other people and you can no longer show up as the spoon feeder, as the trauma dumpster? What happens when you're too tired and you need someone to do that for you? They're not going to do it. They're not going to reciprocate that same energy that you were giving to them. And so now you're all by your lonesome now. It's all you now. It's all by your lonesome. It's all on you. So it's like, it makes no, never mind. And then the other thing is like, yeah, don't be acting like you the smartest person in the room, because they ain't gonna do nothing but use your intelligence for them. It's never for you. It's for them. And then if they know you smarter, they gonna treat you like a threat. So either they're going to get rid of you, or they're going to lock you down and now you can't go nowhere. Experience. Okay? Listen. So it's just like, play those cards close. You only need the only person that really needs to know that you're smart and capable and everything are the people that are directly, like, we do enough. We under promise, over deliver. Okay, and when we over deliver, that's every 2 to 3 weeks. Okay, every 2 to 3 weeks, are you going to be over delivering? Okay, don't get accustomed to that. I don't need you to be accustomed to me doing the utmost, right? Because people wouldn't do that for you, right? They wouldn't do that for you if you always forgiving people. If you always forgiving, you understanding, you the understanding girlfriend. Now you are what they call a doormat. He can leave and come out and do whatever it is that he want to do, right? And it doesn't matter because you understand everything. If you in a relationship, and this is going to be another video. Let me write it down. Because I'm feeling it in my spirit. I can't go for nothing. We can't go for nothing. If you are the understanding girlfriend, okay, and I've seen the videos on TikTok, the girl that is just understanding, holding him down, forgiving, long suffering, she loses herself. And then she is a baddie and then goes to be unrecognizable. Now, we love ourselves at whatever we look like, right? But when you start to let yourself go and you become unrecognizable from the girl that you used to be, that girl you used to put it on, all right? Now you're making compromises, okay? All right? Now you're being, and there's nothing wrong with natural beauty. There's nothing wrong, but it's cringe. It is cringe when I hear a man telling a woman, you don't have to do, because it's not about you, sir. It is not about you. It's not about you whether she want to wear makeup. It's not about you whether she do that for herself. I do it for me. For me, that's my magic work. That's my spiritual, my mirror work. I'm in the mirror like, girl, you look good. Okay, I don't know. We look good. You're looking, like that's that, that meditation time for myself. Like I like to put a little lip, a little eyebrow, a little highlight, a little bronzer, a little foundation, right? How's the skin? The skin is giving really good skin. It's giving, how are we doing? I'm mapping my skin, making sure we're not getting, any blemishes and things. How are the hormones? Like, I need to know what's going on with the skin. Like getting our nails done, we do that for us. That's for us. That's just something for you to feel something within yourself. It's not for nobody else. So when you start becoming understanding and you're putting more effort toward him than you do for yourself, you're not being poured into. You're not being poured into. And that's why we got to talk about, receiving, right? We got to talk about abundance and receiving, because we're supposed to be receiving. But the thing is, it's like, once you become understanding, you become a doormat. You become a doormat. Okay. I've done the research. I've done the math. The math, always math on that specific mathematical equation. If you are understanding, you start understanding him more than you understand yourself. And then it's just his math, you making it make sense, but it's not making sense, but you making it make sense. And all that energy that you are putting toward making his math, your stuff stop. You can't do it. Okay? You're losing your hair, not doing your hair. Right? Not caring about what you eat because you stressed out. Stress eating, stress, all of this stress. And then stress causes you cortisol. You can't burn the fat off. It's just too much. It's too much, right? Too much, right? And the other thing is, like, if you start understanding what he's talking about what he view as beauty and everything like that, it does not matter what he say is going to be beautiful or whatever, because he going to like them other girl pictures anyway. So why are you listening? Girl, you better go tap into them other people and figure out what they talk about, okay? Listen, they be lying. They be lying. Treat others the way you want to be. No, they be lying. They be lying. You look at the actions. We like to listen and hear a good game we want to make the people feel good. I'm a Libra. I specialize in making people feel good, like I love to talk and tell people things, but the thing is, I know I can recognize when people be lying, because I be lying. That's my job sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. It's my, how can we dress this stuff up to tell these people? Because I work with some people, like when you're in leadership, they don't care about people and people skills and things like that. I almost should work for HR. Listen, they don't care about people, and I care about people. And I think that's the problem. I care about people. And so I want to break the news to people, lightly. I just want to be nice to people, because I would want someone to be nice to me. Honest, right? Be honest, be straight. But at the same time, we got to put a little syrup, some sugar. I was going to say sugar and then I said syrup. So syrup. Anyway, we got to dress it up. We got to dress it up sometimes. You know what I mean? So yeah, girl, moving on. Listen, when we are doormats, okay, we're conditioned to be reliable. I'm sorry, my notes are all over the place. I'm all over the place. Listen, we're conditioned to be reliable, to be the strong person, to be the one that whenever somebody call, we're there for them, right? That's what we're conditioned to do, like growing up. Okay, I was the oldest. I had to take care of everybody, had to look out for everybody, had to be there for everybody. But when you become an adult, that energy is completely different, because that's family versus we're in the outside world. But what happens when you never learn, right? We never teach our girls to set boundaries. We don't allow our girls to date. Okay, so they don't know how to act in a relationship, and so they think that they're supposed to treat these boys and all this other stuff like, no, that's not what we're supposed to be doing. No, but they have to learn. They have to get their chops. Okay, moving on. So the new rules that we have here is treat people based on their behavior, and everybody needs to be in different tiers. Okay, everybody got a different subscription package. Okay, everybody got a different package. Everybody starts off base level 1. Okay, you're getting the base minimum. We can be polite to people, we can have decorum, we can have integrity, we can be honest, right? But we can also be diplomatic. Diplomatic is very nice and breezy and airy. Okay, I specialize in that. That's what I'm talking about at work. Diplomatic, tactful. We don't have to be rude just because we're telling somebody it's some bad news, but we don't have to say it that way. We can be understanding. There's nothing wrong with, understanding where they coming from, but at the same time, you ain't getting no further than where we are. So that's just what it is, but I understand where you coming from, but that's all I can do for you. You know what I mean? It's above me now type energy. Like level 1, we can be honest. We can be integrity. We can have these different properties. We don't have to be, rude or anything like that. People automatically think that setting boundaries is being rude, and that is not it. It's just kind of like, girl, that's as far as you're gonna get. That's it. That's all I got. I'm fresh out. I am fresh out. See how I said that nicely? You felt that. I was smiling. The way I said it was like, I'm fresh out, girl. I don't have no more. It's nice. It's different from saying, girl, you ain't getting, it's a different type of energy. You have to be able to read the room, read people, right? We have to convey the certain message that we have to convey. But the way you say stuff, it's the way you say stuff. It's the way you talk to people, right? It's the way you talk to people. You can be, having boundaries and things like that, but you don't have to be some B words just because you got the boundaries, right? We have to learn that. And when you become a good fluent communicator, you learn to code switch depending on where you are and who you're talking to, right? The environment and who you're talking to will determine how that message is going to be conveyed, if that makes sense, right? Level 2, when people are treating you nicely based off the boundaries that you have already set, now we can do some reciprocity. Now we can do some feedback. I do something, you do something. I do something, you do something. We can work collaboratively, right? Because we're building that. Okay, and some systems say that you do 3 nice things before you ask for something, or maybe it is, I noticed that people always do stuff for you and then they want something right away, but it's really 3 times. You do something nice 3 times and then you ask for something or something like that. Think about the ratios when you're doing the reciprocity. It doesn't have to be tit for tat, but you do want to make those deposits. That's what they call it, deposits of something, girl. Some type of deposit. You got to make a deposit before you trying to get your withdrawal, because if you never did your deposit, there's no money for you to get. Okay, you never deposited nothing into the bank, so I can't give you nothing type energy, right? Moving on. So after we have established, some type of rapport at the bank, okay, now we can get into some type of vulnerability. Now we can start to really, we can invest a little bit. We might be able to invest after we have built up some type of rapport. We might be able to invest in maybe, but it depends. You got level 4 and 5 is when we giving out loans, but we really not giving out loans like that for real. You need collateral. We need the collateral. We're going to have the collateral. We got to have it, period. You have to learn how to have that rapport, building rapport. Now listen, as a Libra, people be thinking that I'm fake, okay? People say that Libras are fake. But these are skills that you need in dealing with people. You don't just go in asking for stuff. Okay, that's not how business is done. That's not how business is done. You have to meeting of the minds. Now, if it's a pressing matter, we have to do a little bit of tit for tat. What can I do for you so that we can get this done, right? But when you're establishing relationships and stuff, they say 9 months. They say it's 9 months before you can really develop real long-term stuff. So if you're dating someone and different things at 3 months, that ain't nothing. That's just 1/3. He should still be in level 1. Level 1. After you have, then after, 3 months, then we can move you. Then we can move you up, okay? But it's based off the experiences that we're having. And the deposits, are we doing deposits? What direct deposit? What kind of deposits are we doing into this thing, okay? Moving on. So we're no longer over giving. We are neutral, okay? Neutral. I love the word neutral. Neutral. I'm neutral, okay? Listen, just because we're smiling, okay, this is Mississippi too. Mississippi and Libra. Just because we're smiling don't mean we agree all the time. Just don't mean I'm your friend. Don't mean none of that, okay? Now, I know some people think that when you don't smile, you don't do nothing. Listen, that's not how business is done. That is not how business is done. We can be cordial. We can be neutral. We can be diplomatic. We can be tactful. We can be all of these different things, okay? Because we don't have to be rude about it. It's just that this is as far as you're going to get. You're not going to go any further than what I just told you right there. That's it. That's all. And people will more likely receive it in a better manner when you say it nicer, okay? Now, if they can't get that, then that's when we move over. Okay, that's when we move over to, let's step outside. Maybe we need to have a different conversation or something like that. But it's just kind of like, no, you can be neutral. You can be diplomatic. You can be observant, because we're still learning people. We're still trying to see what's going on. You don't automatically mean mug people either. You don't be mean mugging and everything like that, right? Because when you're still learning other people and they're still learning you, like perception, right? Perception. And I feel like when you don't mean mug, people automatically think that you're easygoing and different things like that. But I mean, I would rather someone think that I wasn't a threat than for people to automatically write me off as a threat. I mean, I feel like that's something that's to each his own. Some people, like, if you don't like that person, you're not gonna deal with them at all. But I am, because you never know who you need. You never know who you need. You never know where you might find yourself in another place. So you don't want to burn bridges before you ever get to cross them. So that's why it's important to always be nice, always be cordial, always be whatever the case may be. Even if you don't like the person, you might not even like the person off energy. Plenty of people that I do not like. Okay, right off the back, I already know the energy gonna be off. I already feel it, but you just never know. And you want to give people an opportunity to prove you wrong, but be prepared. Okay, be prepared for them to prove you right. Yes. Okay. All right. Being vague. I know we say don't be vague, but it's just kind of like, at my job, I have to be vague. I can't promise people things. I just can't promise, because sometimes I promise something and then it's not approved. So we promise and stuff and we can't even do it. And so we have to go back and say no. Right? And so I'm the type of person, whatever I say that I'm going to do, I'm going to do. So it's just like, if you can't do it, then don't make the promise, don't make the commitment if you are not 100% sure. So that's why I mean, like, being vague. But like in conversations and relationships, like, no, if the person is vague, don't be in a relationship with nobody that's vague, okay? Because that's interpersonal. That's y'all trying to be vulnerable. But when it's at work, completely different environment, completely different people, right? So the context of the relationship, of the interaction is different, okay? All of these things change depending on who you're talking to and what you're doing, okay? All right. Being kind is not the problem. Okay, looking out for other people is not the problem. I like to look out for people. I like to give people a little word, just because I know I had a hard head. Okay, I had a hard head. Didn't have to go through so much or whatever, and so I pay it forward by giving people advice and things of that nature. But everybody ain't gonna make it. Everybody ain't gonna be successful. Everybody ain't gonna have nice things, okay? And then when you're treating people the way you want to be treated and you're overgiving, expecting a different return, it's bad return on your investment, because you're not gonna get anything back. And so now you're depleted. Now you're self-sacrificing. Now you're a martyr, all right? And it's not worth it. It is not worth it. So yesterday we talked about not forcing it, not forcing that, okay? We want to continue being actively present for ourselves, putting ourselves first, right? And for women, it might be seen as being selfish, but somebody got to be selfish for you. If nobody else is doing anything for you, you have to be the first person to do it and put forth that effort for yourself, right? Because nobody else is going to do it. It's your responsibility. Like love and happiness, that's your responsibility. It's nobody else's responsibility to make you happy. Nobody else's responsibility. Like, that's all you. It's all you. It's all you. So if it's all you, don't give away so much energy for yourself. I know they say the golden rule, all right, but I feel like the golden rule is giving a little bit of little brass, little copper. It's not giving 24K. It's not giving that. It's giving a little bit of that Shein gold plated or something like that. Just a little gold tone. You got to put the clear nail polish on it or something because it's not giving real all the time, okay? All right, now, what y'all think? Y'all let me know. Y'all let me know. But pour into yourselves. Do more for yourself. Okay. You're the only one. You get. People are supposed to get the overflow. You know, overflow of what you have for yourself. Okay. I hope you enjoyed this video.